Allow your eyes to show you where the plantain is. And put your hand on it and then close your eyes. And feel between your fingers the different leaves. Some of the leaves are big and some are small. Do they feel different? Which ones do you want in your salad?
The bigger ones. Well, I don't know. I thought the smaller ones were rougher.
The big one.
The big one is very rough, isn't it? And stiff. And the little one is smooth and soft. I like the little ones in salads. I think for soup where you're going to cook it, the big ones are fine. For making your medicine, the big ones are fine. But I like the little ones in my salad. All right? I don't like textural issues in the salad. Right, comfrey leaves, things that are hairy, scratchy, itchy. Like, you wouldn't want me to throw raw nettle leaves in your salad, would you? No. Textural problem there, all right? But plantain is one of the few herbal remedies that you can walk into a drugstore and buy. What would you have to ask for to get plantain in a drugstore?
Psyllium.
Metamucil.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Plantago psyllium. This is Plantago majus, Plantago lanceolata, and Plantago psyllium, which grows in South America. But you use the seeds of all plantains exactly the same. So you can harvest your own. Remember, we talked way at the beginning of class, right? What do we put into our rice or our oatmeal when we're cooking it? A whole variety of seeds, including the plantain seeds, right? And plantain seeds are good for regularity, but what else do they do? They bind to cholesterol.
Oh, very good.
Bind to cholesterol and draw the cholesterol out of your body.
Do they help poison ivy?
Why would you want to help poison ivy?
Or
I think poison ivy is doing just fine without my help.
help heal poison ivy?
Let me see if I can figure out what you're intending to say.
The rash that you get from poison ivy.
Ah, okay. So you
Soothing.
want to help a person who has a rash from poison ivy. Yes. Yes? You just had experience with this?
I think last week I was out to the goats and I had poison ivy everywhere, but I know now already. So I just tried to keep my hands out of my eyes. But that day I just like had something in my eye and I was just doing this and suddenly it started to burn. So I was like, ah shit, yeah, poison ivy on my hands. So I just ran to a plantain, shoot it up, spit it out, and just put really the plantain inside of my eye, so the juice, and it stopped. I could like watch see again normally.
It wasn't swollen.
Yeah, just like a normal eye, you cannot see that something I have. Thankful for that.
Yay, plantain! Monica Jean took a skid on a sidewalk. Do you remember this? In nursery school, on your hands and your knees. You saw me and you came running toward me. You tripped over a root and scraped your knees right through her tights. And both, you know how it's, you know, you go, you're like this, right? And it was the middle of winter. And I looked around and there was a house with a hedge. And I went and I got under the hedge and right up against the house was plantain, still growing, still green. Even in February, we got some. They had gone in the school to get some Band-Aids. I came out with the plantain, and I'm dealing with half, you know, with the plantain, and they're putting Band-Aids, and she's going, oh, it feels good. Where's the plantain? So I find plantain is almost always available to me. Yes, you're going to see a lot more of it in the summertime, but it can be evergreen, and it can hang even in our very cold climate. But it was right next to the house, right? And under the shrub. Which is keeping that warmth in there. So that's what I look for in the winter.
How would you use it for the winter? Would you put it in an oil?
Yes, people often make plantain oil or ointment to have it. It's also, needless to say, the prime remedy to help prevent and deal with diaper rash.
Oh, in an oil base, probably.
In an oil base, absolutely. I had MD who came here because she actually told me that she thought that antibiotic ointments not only increased antibiotic resistance overall, but she thought they slowed healing.
Well, you know, we have so many beneficial bacteria on us. The thinking is we have 4 to 5 pounds of bacteria on us at any one time, healthy bacteria. So if you put an antibiotic on just randomly, you're just going to get co-infections and super infections and yeah, this is much smarter.
So she did a live-out apprenticeship because she wanted to learn how to make something that she could use instead of antibiotic ointment in the hospital. She's an MD.
Ah.
Right, so she said, well, could I use plantain oil? Could I use yarrow oil? I said, just forget oil. Just right now, just totally forget oil, because it's not going to pass muster in a hospital. They're not going to let you use something that you're sticking your finger in. Not going to happen. She said, well, if I make an ointment, I said, still not going to happen. He said, think tincture and spray, because now you're hands off. And she found that the tincture of plantain leaf in a spray bottle works as effectively as a spit poultice.
Awesome.
Because you are probably not, after surgery, going to chew plantain leaf up and spit it on someone's wound.
Might be frowned upon.
Might, especially in most major hospitals. This is going to be, but you can go in there with, and she actually created something called omist. And it was a combination of herbs, which I'm not allowed to tell you what it is, but you could guess. Because we've talked about a lot of them. And she did one human trial with 1,000 people, and the wound healing was more than twice as fast as it was with an antibiotic ointment. So this is, you know, any kind of wound that you have, scrape, you know, tear, puncture, right? Even burn. Plantain leaves are used directly on burns as well.
So is comfrey then is just like a stronger, more like open sore kind of?
Where are you going to find comfrey?
Okay, so it's just more about
Where are you going to find comfrey?
Everywhere that it's planted.
Only where it is planted. Correct. Your comfrey is not a wild plant.
Okay.
Okay, so you're not, and like any cultivated plant, it has its likes and dislikes. Whereas plantain grows everywhere. Learn about plantain, you will always have a fringe. You'll always be able to find some plantain. All right, comfrey is wonderful, and I use it primarily as an infusion for its usefulness inside. Certainly it can be used externally, but even when we were talking about it, I said, kind of hairy for external use, huh? All right? You're not going to be as likely to pop a comfrey leaf in your mouth, chew it up, spit it out, and put it on a wound.
But if you made a tincture from it, would it? You
Um,
prefer?
Generally, what people make is an oil of comfrey root, because the allantoin is in the hard parts, and the harder the part, the more the allantoin. So most of it's in the root. You don't want to use the root internally, but people do use comfrey root externally.
Okay.
Right. And again, this is one of the reasons it takes 7 lifetimes to become an herbalist, is because it isn't just, this is the herb that we use. No, there's many, 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 many choices. And you have to base those choices on what's available to me. What do I feel in concert with? What does this person need? What are they likely to be willing to do? So we're talking about making these tinctures of the plants to use in a hospital setting, right?
Right.
But I didn't spray the back of his knee with the tincture.
Right.
Because the spit poultice is the most effective way to go. We just know. I mean, we don't even have to think about it. We know that is not going to fly to help heal an incision from a cesarean. They're not going to let you go in there and spit plantain on that woman's belly.
But the day she gets home.
That's right. Okay, do we have a couple of people with scissors who'd like to cut some motherwort?
I want to see the motherboard.
Okay.
I'm the scissor.
We'll take, we got